So CheckMate 214 is a very important clinical trial. It's a phase 3 trial which pivoted combination immunotherapy against the standard of care, which is Sutent in renal cell carcinoma patients. It's a very large phase 3 trial conducted all over the world with roughly 1,000 patients participating. 800 of these patients were of intermediate and poor risk. This tends to be a more challenging patient population. And 200 patients were of favorable risk. The objective response rate was increased, clearly superior to Sutent. 41% of patients responded with very durable responses, and more importantly, patients lived longer. The risk of dying if you were exposed to the combination immunotherapy was reduced by 37%, which is a very significant finding for intermediate and poor risk patients, and that finding held up when all 1,000 patients were analyzed as well. It's for the first time that we will be able to use an immunotherapy for the vast majority of patients in the front line. So since 2006, we have essentially used Sutent or similar agents, mostly VEGF inhibitors in the front line for kidney cancer patients. This is the first line. We're using immunotherapy, which has the potential to lead to very durable disease control for a number of patients. It's clearly very effective in the intermediate and poor risk population, which, by the way, makes up roughly 75 to 80% of all kidney cancer patients. We still have to analyze the data set for the favorable risk or good risk patient population, which is a patient population that will do well almost no matter what we do. Most patients were able to receive all 4 doses, but there's a number of patients who had to stop therapy because of side effects. Around 20% of patients had to do that. But patients who had to stop side effects, they often could actually still derive durable benefit nonetheless. However, it is a therapy that requires expertise in the administration and the follow-up of these patients. I think a very important data set is that the quality of life across the patient population was superior to sunitinib. The combination of nivolumab and ipilimumab will be a backbone, and I think it will be also be the new standard to compare new combination therapy against. So I think that new drugs that want to enter in the first line will have to consider this particular combination as a comparator for clinical trial development. This is really exciting because this trial is actually very timely. So we are very excited to see that nivolumab-ipilimumab combination is going to be the new standard of care. And one of the questions that we're asking is, how can we make this therapy more effective? And one of the potential ways to increase or improve the efficacy of immunotherapy is to use vaccination. It's very difficult to develop vaccines for individual patients, so the approach could be to actually use some of the patient's tumors inside the body and turn it into a vaccine. To that end, we actually radiate on this particular trial a tumor with high doses of radiation that will kill the tumor cells, expose them to the immune system, and essentially create an in situ vaccine in the patient's body and at the same time unleash the immune system.
I started CheckMate 214 in June of 2015. I'm just rejoicing because our patients are going to have a first-line treatment that doesn't require them. It does come with some adverse reactions, but now just I think about the years that I've been on it, I mean, by the time it's approved, we'll have 3 years at least of good knowledge of what those medications do to patients. And we will be able to educate that population as to what to be aware of and to let the doctors know right away if they're suffering an adverse reaction so that they can dampen down the effects of the immunotherapy. So I'm thrilled that it's going to be a first-line treatment.